She announced her fake pregnancy at my daughter's birthday, then moved into my house, used my plates, and wore my grandmother's ring. When I asked her why she was doing this to me, she smirked and said, "Because I can do you better than you ever could." I didn't say a word. That was 10 months ago. Last night, she screamed, "They planted that," when the nurse peeled off her silicone belly in front of a recording phone. Throw away because my ex-husband discovered Reddit exists. You know how some people collect stamps? Carly collected other women's lives. She was 25, worked at the same accounting firm Elliot and I worked at, and studied me like I was her dissertation topic. The pattern started small. She'd wear my perfume to work, not similar mine. Started using my catchphrases. Once I caught her in the bathroom mirror practicing my laugh like she was preparing for the world's weirdest job interview. "Just admiring your confidence," she chirped. Sure. January. She'd text Elliot about urgent spreadsheets at 9 p.m. Her car broke down outside our anniversary dinner. I actually felt sorry for her. Young, friendless, trying too hard. She started joining the girls for dinner. I insisted we include her. I even gave her my grandmother's lasagna recipe. I know. Then came the escalation. She brought my lasagna to the office's potluck. "Family recipe," she beamed. Started showing up in my exact outfits. Not similar. The exact same. The emergencies multiplied. Panic attacks only Elliot could fix. She thought she was being stalked and needed his protection. Sudden illness requiring midnight urgent care runs. But the birthday party? That was her masterpiece. My daughter Claire turned 10. Carly stood up during cake, rubbed her belly, and announced, "Elliot and I have something to share." The woman really said "we" while clutching her belly at my daughter's party. 25th graders watched my marriage implode. The divorce was 8 months of hell. Carly had coached Elliot, documenting my aggression, crying after betrayal, my instability, ordering pizza twice in 1 week. I got kicked out of my own house, and by Christmas she'd moved in and posted Instagram tours of the nursery, which was formerly Claire's room. She made us call her Mama Carly. My son Jake whispered after visitation. He's 7. Then I found Claire in her closet with scissors, about to cut up all her drawings of our family. She told me, "She's erasing us anyway, Mom." Something in me went cold, and I became a suburban detective, but Carly covered her tracks well. Then I found a picture on her Facebook of her with a couple. Maria and David were tagged. In just a few short messages, I learned that Carly had a pattern, being married to David from 2019 to 2021, and left when money ran out. Then she married James from 2021 to 2022. His fiancée Kelly caught them together at a cake tasting, but the golden ticket? Court records showed Carly was still married to Orion since 2018. Game on. I formed a group chat with her previous victims. We compared notes. Carly didn't just steal men, she studied their wives obsessively. Maria discovered Carly had copied her dead mother's cookie recipes. Kelly found Carly wearing an identical engagement ring. The revenge was beautiful in its simplicity. We sent an anonymous email to Elliot's lawyer. Check California bigamy laws, then check Sacramento marriage records. The investigator worked fast. He found 2 fraud judgments, 3 restraining orders, and that she was still married to Ryan. The investigator contacted Ryan, who'd been searching for 3 years. The entire reveal shook Elliot enough that he got a court-ordered pregnancy test. Carly's friend was brought along to record proof in Carly's favor. Instead, she recorded her demise and posted it on her social media. During ultrasound prep, the nurse noticed silicone edges peeling away from Carly's belly. "Ma'am, is that synthetic?" Carly screamed. "They planted that!" Turns out Carly had faked the pregnancy all along. She was hoping to pay off the nurse, but even her friend revealed the truth. The ultrasounds, stolen from baby center forums, morning sickness, completely fake. Her prenatal vitamins, Tic Tacs. Carly went nuclear on social media, posting her evidence, including ultrasounds signed by a credible doctor. My doorbell was rung dozens of times over those next few weeks, mostly by Elliot, begging me to take him back, but only once did I actually open the door. When Ryan, Carly's first husband, showed up, saying he had something important to tell me. It took a turn I never expected. I opened the door to find Ryan standing there, manila folder clutched in his hands. He kept glancing over his shoulder like someone might be watching. His wedding ring caught the porch light, the same one Carly had probably picked out years ago. I stepped aside to let him in. He followed me to the kitchen, setting the folder on the counter between us. My hands shook as I poured coffee. Across town, according to the private investigator I'd hired, Carly was in her apartment destroying evidence. Bank statements, marriage certificates, anything that could prove her pattern. Ryan opened the folder. Inside were printed emails between Carly and someone named Amy. The subject lines mentioned insurance money. He pushed the papers toward me, explaining these might not be admissible in court without proper authentication. The evidence was right there, but legally complex. My phone buzzed. Jake's therapy appointment reminder. I had 15 minutes to decide. Review these documents or be there for my son. Ryan watched me struggle with the choice. Through the window, I saw my neighbor loading her kids into the car for school pickup, the same school where Carly would be in 20 minutes. I chose Jake. Always Jake. I grabbed my keys, leaving Ryan at my kitchen table with his folder of secrets. The drive to the therapist took 10 minutes. Jake talked about Mama Carly the whole session, how she read him bedtime stories and made his favorite mac and cheese. The therapist took notes while I bit my tongue until it bled. After dropping Jake back at school, I arrived for pickup. Carly stood by the gate, chatting with other mothers. Her breathing quickened when she saw me, the same pattern I remembered from the birthday party reveal. The other parents shifted uncomfortably as I approached. The words erupted before I could stop them. I accused her of destroying everything. The nearby parents exchanged glances, interpreting it as bitter ex-wife drama. One mother pulled her daughter closer. Another whispered something about custody battles being so hard on everyone. I looked unhinged while Carly stood there, the picture of concerned stepmother composure. The school counselor watched from the entrance. She had a concerning behavior report to file, but the upcoming fundraiser deadline loomed. Whoever helped would gain favor. Carly immediately volunteered to coordinate the silent auction. I stood there, mouth open, as she efficiently organized the other parents into committees. That evening, 3 crises exploded simultaneously. Jake had a meltdown at school, throwing his lunch tray and screaming about wanting to live with Daddy and Mama Carly. Claire refused to pack for her weekend at Elliot's, barricading herself in her room. My boss called, threatening termination for missed deadlines. The Peterson audit was due Monday, and I'd spent the week playing detective instead of working. I handled the work crisis first, pulling an all-nighter to salvage the audit. This meant missing the custody exchange the next morning. The investigator later told me Carly had acted suspiciously, constantly checking her phone and rushing the kids into the car, but I wasn't there to document it. My responsible choice would be used against me in the custody filing. Saturday afternoon, Carly had a genuine panic attack at the grocery store. She'd spotted Maria Maria in the produce section. According to witnesses, Carly hyperventilated by the avocados, drawing a crowd of concerned shoppers. The store manager called an ambulance. By evening, the neighborhood Facebook group was full of sympathy posts about the young stepmother dealing with harassment from her husband's vindictive ex. My sister texted that night. She'd seen the posts. Her messages came rapid fire, each one cutting deeper. She reminded me of Dad's death 5 years ago, how I'd spiraled then too. The comparison stung because part of me wondered if she was right. Sunday's therapy session was another disaster. Jake defended Mama Carly to Dr. Martinez, listing all the ways she was better than me. Better pancakes, better bedtime stories, better at not crying in the car. Dr. Martinez asked gentle questions while I sat there realizing my 7-year-old was being turned against me. Monday morning, I finally reviewed Ryan's documents. The emails between Carly and Amy discussed insurance money from James's life insurance policy. Amy was apparently Carly's accomplice in several schemes, but Ryan was right. Without proper authentication, these emails were just pieces of paper. I decided to document everything myself. Tuesday afternoon, I drove to Carly's lawyer's office, planning to photograph her car in the parking lot. Security cameras caught me. The footage made me look like a stalker. Carly's lawyer added it to their growing file of evidence against me. Wednesday brought a new crisis. The school nurse called. Jake needed his ADHD medication authorization updated. Since Carly was listed as emergency contact, she needed to sign too. I had to sit in the nurse's office while Carly played concerned stepmother, asking detailed questions about Jake's treatment plan. The school parent WhatsApp group became a minefield. Every complaint I made about pickup procedures got screenshot and forwarded to Carly's lawyer. I didn't realize until my own attorney showed me the printouts. Dozens of messages taken out of context, painting me as an unstable woman harassing her ex-husband's new wife. Thursday, I tried warning other mothers about Carly. I pulled aside Jennifer, whose daughter was in Claire's class. I explained about the bigamy, the fake pregnancy, the pattern of identity theft. Jennifer listened politely, then reported the conversation to the PTA president. By Friday, I was flagged for harassment. My exhaustion was showing at work. The way this woman is painting herself as the perfect victim while admitting she gave away her grandmother's lasagna recipe to someone who was clearly copying her makes me wonder what else she's leaving out of this story. I sent a client email to the wrong address, containing sensitive financial data. My boss called an emergency meeting. The mistake looked like I was drinking again, though I'd been sober for 3 years. HR documented everything. Sarah, my best friend since college, met me for coffee that weekend. Her husband had given her an ultimatum: stop being involved in my drama or consider divorce. She believed me about Carly but couldn't lose her marriage over it. She hugged me goodbye, and I knew it was the last time. The neighbors started crossing the street to avoid me. I discovered the neighborhood Facebook group where I was discussed as a safety concern. Someone had started a thread about whether I should be allowed at community events. The vote wasn't going my way. Through all this, Carly tightened her control. She now managed the children's dental insurance and pediatrician relationships through Elliot's coverage. When Claire needed antibiotics for strep throat, I had to go through Carly to get the insurance information. She made me wait 6 hours before responding, claiming she'd been in an important meeting. Ryan visited again the following week. He'd found more evidence but warned me about the cost of pursuing it. Every document would need forensic authentication. Every email traced to its source. The legal fees would drain what little savings I had left. Meanwhile, Carly used Elliot's credit cards freely, playing the devoted stepmother at every school event. By the 3rd week, I was making mistakes, small ones that added up. Forgetting to pack Jake's favorite toy for the custody exchange, missing Claire's parent-teacher conference because I was meeting with lawyers. Each error got documented, photographed, filed away in Carly's growing case against me. The school counselor made her decision about the concerning behavior report. She filed it, but not about Carly, about me. My outburst at pickup, combined with my harassment of other parents, created a pattern of concerning behavior. The report would be crucial in the custody evaluation. I realized both Carly and I were locked in mutual destruction. Whoever broke first would lose the children permanently. She had Elliot's money, the community's sympathy, and a talent for manipulation. I had the truth, but truth without proof is just noise, and I was running out of time to find the evidence that would make anyone listen. The paralegal started showing up at my usual coffee shop. Catherine worked at my divorce lawyer's office, always carrying files and wearing pencil skirts that reminded me of my old professional wardrobe. She'd smile and wave, then sit 2 tables away. The 3rd time she approached while I waited for my order, she mentioned how difficult custody battles were, how she'd seen so many mothers lose everything. Her hand briefly touched mine as she handed me a napkin for my spilled coffee. I noticed things disappearing from my car. Nothing valuable, just receipts, parking stubs, appointment cards, the kind of documentation that painted a picture of someone's daily life. My lawyer confirmed Catherine had started dating someone new. The timeline matched perfectly with when Carly began quoting lines from my favorite comfort movie during school pickups. The confrontation happened Thursday afternoon. I'd arrived early for pickup, securing my usual spot near the gate. Carly appeared beside my car window, tapping gently. I rolled it down halfway. She leaned in close, speaking softly about the children's upcoming dental appointments. Her hand gripped my car door as she detailed the insurance requirements. When I tried to close the window, her fingers got caught. She yanked them back, crying out dramatically. 3 mothers rushed over. Carly cradled her hand, tears streaming down her face. I sat frozen in my driver's seat while she described how I deliberately closed the window on her fingers. The security guard took statements. My version sounded defensive, desperate. Hers painted a picture of an unstable ex-wife who'd finally snapped. The incident report filed by the school was damning. Physical altercation on school property, potential assault charges. My lawyer received the paperwork the next morning, along with photos of Carly's bruised fingers. The metadata showed they were taken 2 hours before our confrontation. I started examining every interaction for traps. The exhaustion made me paranoid, but the paranoia kept revealing real threats. My old work emails to Elliot surfaced in the custody evaluation. Messages from 2 years ago complaining about sleepless nights with sick kids. Texts about needing space, wanting a weekend alone. Normal parental frustration weaponized into evidence of maternal inadequacy. Jake's words to the family court evaluator destroyed me. He described how I'd said Mama Carly was dangerous, but she made better pancakes. She helped with homework without getting frustrated. She never cried in the car after pickup. The evaluator noted his preference, interpreting my warnings as parental alienation. The doorbell camera footage emerged during discovery. 37 times I'd driven past my former home in 6 weeks. Each pass documented, time-stamped, compiled into a video presentation. My lawyer explained how it looked to outsiders. I couldn't explain the compulsion to see my children's bedroom windows, to know they were safe. Family court treated my bigamy evidence as an attack on Elliot's new relationship. The judge lectured about moving forward, accepting new family dynamics. My documented proof of Carly's multiple marriages got reframed as obsessive behavior designed to alienate the children from their father's chosen partner. Carly's Instagram revealed the final insult. She'd found my grandmother's china at an estate sale, the pattern I'd grown up eating Sunday dinners on. Each story showed her serving the children on those precious plates, creating new memories over my family's history. I discovered Elliot's research through pure accident. Carly had posted a story of her laptop screen, showing off her new screensaver. In the background, a browser tab was visible. The search history included life insurance beneficiary changes. The timestamp showed 3 months before our separation. My therapist got subpoenaed. Dr. Nathan had been helping me process the divorce, but now our sessions became evidence. My concerns about Carly transformed into documented obsession. My grief over losing my children became inability to accept reality. Every honest emotion I'd shared in that safe space turned into ammunition. The recording attempt failed spectacularly. I'd hidden my phone in my jacket pocket during Friday's drop-off, hoping to capture Carly's threats. She spotted the camera lens immediately. Her scream echoed across the parking lot. Parents turned to stare as she pointed at me, backing away dramatically. The phrase, "she's recording me," became her rallying cry, repeated to every witness. An early release day created unexpected leverage. The school called about pickup changes 30 minutes before dismissal. I was in a client meeting. Carly was the only authorized person available. By the time I arrived, she'd taken the children for ice cream, posting photos of their happy faces. The custody log noted my absence during an emergency. My accounting firm chose protection over truth. HR called me in after Carly filed her harassment complaint. She documented my stalking at industry events, my aggressive behavior in the office kitchen. The partners discussed shareholder concerns, company reputation. They offered severance in exchange for quiet resignation. I noticed the ring during morning pickup. My grandmother's setting was distinctive, Art Deco with tiny sapphires. Elliot had claimed it was lost during our move. Now it glittered on Carly's right hand as she waved to other parents. The rage made my vision blur. Carly's offer came through her lawyer. Supervised visitation every other weekend in exchange for dropping all investigations. The document outlined terms that made me a visitor in my children's lives. My refusal got spun as choosing revenge over stability. The guardian ad litem noted my priorities seemed skewed. The timeline error hurt my credibility beyond repair. I'd sworn Carly contacted Ryan on March 15th. Security footage from Ryan's building showed March 18th. 3 days didn't change the crime, but it destroyed my reliability as a witness. Every other claim got questioned, doubted, dismissed. I found Elliot's draft emails by accident. He'd left his laptop open during a custody exchange. The drafts folder contained dozens of unsent messages documenting Carly's lies, each one time-stamped, detailed, desperate. He'd been building his own evidence file while pretending to be under her spell. The stalking accusation had twisted origins. Elliot's emails revealed he'd asked Carly to check on me during my dark period after Dad's death. Her welfare checks became my harassment of her. The very help I'd needed got weaponized against me. My mother faced an impossible choice. Supporting me meant risking her relationship with her grandchildren. She chose neutrality, limiting my emotional support while preserving access to Jake and Claire. Her careful distance felt like another betrayal, though I understood the logic. I started adopting Carly's tactics. Her hairdresser, Joni, worked at the salon I'd frequented for years. I booked appointments, making small talk while memorizing details about Carly's schedule, her plans, her complaints. Information gathering disguised as self-care. The yoga studio encounter required careful planning. Carly's friend Catherine attended Tuesday evening classes. I arrived early, setting up next to her usual spot. 90 minutes of warrior poses while cataloging every detail she mentioned about their friend group dynamics. Evidence surfaced through sheer luck. Carly accidentally shared the wrong Google Photos album in the school group chat. Carly's playing chess while everyone else thinks it's checkers. Accidentally sharing the wrong photos is exactly the kind of slip that happens when you're juggling too many schemes at once. Instead of field trip pictures, parents saw images of documents, multiple IDs, marriage certificates with different names. She deleted it within minutes, but screenshots spread faster than her damage control. Elliot's mother emerged from Florida demanding grandparent rights. Suddenly, I was fighting on 3 fronts: Carly, Elliot, and his mother. Each battle drained resources, time, energy. The complexity meant I missed Claire's school play. My absence got recorded in the custody log as prioritizing conflict over children. Legal fees consumed everything. My savings account emptied while Carly used Elliot's credit cards for designer clothes, salon appointments, children's activities that I couldn't afford to match. The financial imbalance became another mark against my stability. The pizza place confrontation traumatized everyone. I'd taken the children to their favorite restaurant, trying to maintain normalcy. Carly arrived with Elliot sitting 2 tables away. The tension escalated until voices raised, accusations flew. The teenage employees called police while my children sobbed into their untouched meals. My termination came with brutal efficiency. The official reason cited excessive personal drama affecting client relationships. The unofficial truth, Carly's former colleague needed a job. My replacement started the Monday after my last day, sliding into my office like she'd always belonged there. Moving in with my sister required swallowing the last of my pride. She cleared out her guest room reluctantly, setting ground rules about drama, visitors, late-night calls. Meanwhile, Carly posted Instagram tours of my former home office, now transformed into her personal workspace. My mother's Lee came during Sunday dinner. She begged me to let go for everyone's sake. Her words cut deep. I was destroying myself and taking the family down with me. The accusation hung between us over cold pot roast. My investigation caused collateral damage. The daycare worker who'd shared information about Carly's pickup patterns got suspended for privacy breach. Her husband confronted me outside the grocery store, explaining their financial strain. Their daughter asked why mommy couldn't buy groceries anymore. I continued investigating despite the destruction. Each revelation about Carly required burning another bridge, destroying another relationship. The math was simple: their livelihoods versus my children's safety. I chose my children every time. My sister's doubt hit unexpectedly. During a quiet moment folding laundry, she asked what if the kids were actually happy with Carly. The question froze me. I couldn't immediately answer because part of me had seen their smiles in those Instagram posts. Maintaining credibility required admitting my methods. I publicly acknowledged hiring the private investigator, hoping transparency would salvage my reputation. Instead, it confirmed everyone's suspicions about my obsession. The discovered drafts revealed my greatest failure. Elliot's emails showed cries for help I'd missed, subtle pleas buried in text messages about work stress, questions about identity theft that I'd dismissed as paranoia. The evidence of my blindness stared back from his unsent messages. Carly's emergency motion caught me unprepared. She advanced the custody hearing by 2 months, knowing my lawyer was in Hawaii for his daughter's wedding. I faced the choice of inadequate representation or postponement that would look like stalling. Ryan's revelation reframed everything. He explained how Carly genuinely believed each husband was her soulmate. She studied their wives to become the perfect replacement. The pattern showed desperate need for love rather than calculated evil. The humanity made her more dangerous. Using my children as information sources broke my final moral boundary. I asked subtle questions about Mama Carly's friends, her phone calls, her visitors. Jake innocently shared details while Claire grew suspicious. I'd promised never to involve them in adult problems, but survival required sacrificing principles. The ethical mother I'd been died somewhere between the lawyer's office and the school parking lot. Strategic manipulation replaced honest emotion. I learned to cry on cue, to plant seeds of doubt, to use my children's love as leverage. The transformation felt like watching myself from outside. Evidence arrived through Carly's friend Than. He'd grown concerned about her behavior patterns, the way she'd morphed into different personalities. His testimony could establish her psychological instability, but using it meant destroying their friendship. My minor victory in proving bigamy felt hollow. The court acknowledged Carly's multiple marriages but focused on her current emotional state. I watched her sob in the parking lot after the hearing, both of us broken by the battle. We sat in separate cars, crying for different reasons. Carly's counterclaim of parental alienation gained traction. The Guardian ad litem documented my warnings to the children about their stepmother. My attempts to protect became evidence of manipulation. The system designed to shield children trapped me in bureaucratic quicksand. Everything hinged on Maria's testimony. She held proof of Carly's past patterns but feared involvement. Her husband opposed dredging up old pain. I needed her voice to establish the pattern, but pushing meant asking another woman to relive her trauma. My past kindness became leverage. I'd attended the funeral of Carly's father, bringing food to her elderly mother. Now that grieving woman called, asking why I was hurting her daughter. The emotional manipulation was masterful, using my own compassion against me. Accounting colleagues chose sides based on career prospects. The firm's managing partner position would open soon. Supporting Carly meant aligning with Elliot's faction. Supporting me meant career sewer slide. The politics played out in break room conversations and meeting assignments. The legal system's requirements crushed me. Testimony meant nothing without contemporary documentation. I had truth but no papers. Carly had lies backed by meticulously forged evidence. The imbalance felt like fighting with both hands tied. I called in my final favor. Elliot had saved a client from bankruptcy 3 years ago. That grateful business owner owed everything to my ex-husband's financial expertise. I asked for help Elliot had earned, not me. The distinction mattered in my fractured moral landscape. The client provided a forensic accountant but wouldn't testify personally. Professional analysis without personal involvement. A clean transaction. The accountant began examining financial records, searching for patterns only experts could see. The analysis revealed Elliot's secret documentation. Throughout our marriage's final year, he'd been recording financial discrepancies, small inconsistencies that painted a larger picture. He'd known something was wrong but couldn't identify the source. The evidence showed months of terror disguised as normal life. Elliot had documented feeling trapped, sensing manipulation he couldn't name. His fear leaked through in spreadsheet notes and calendar entries. He'd been building a case while pretending ignorance. The forensic accountant worked through the weekend. Monday morning, he called with preliminary findings. Elliot had documented unexplained withdrawals totaling $37,000 over 18 months. Each transaction coincided with Carly's shopping sprees, salon appointments, and mysterious cash needs. The pattern revealed systematic financial manipulation predating their affair. I met with the accountant Tuesday afternoon. He spread documents across the conference table, highlighting discrepancies. Elliot's meticulous nature had created an inadvertent paper trail. Credit card statements showed duplicate charges. Bank records revealed transfers to accounts Elliot hadn't authorized. The evidence painted Carly as a financial predator who'd targeted my ex-husband's vulnerability. Wednesday's revelation changed everything. Buried in Elliot's cloud storage, his lawyer discovered a folder titled Insurance. Inside were screenshots of Carly researching life insurance policies, beneficiary laws, and accidental death statistics. The dates preceded our separation by 4 months. She'd been planning something darker than identity theft. The custody hearing loomed Friday. My lawyer returned from Hawaii Thursday night, reviewing the new evidence during his red-eye flight. He called from the airport, voice tight with excitement. The financial fraud documentation could shift the entire case, but we needed Elliot's testimony to authenticate it. I watched Elliot enter the courthouse Friday morning, his shoulders slumped under invisible weight. Dark circles shadowed his eyes. Carly walked beside him, her hand possessively gripping his arm. She wore my grandmother's ring openly now, the sapphires catching morning light. The courtroom filled with familiar faces, teachers, parents, neighbors, all forced to choose sides publicly. Dr. Martinez sat in the middle section, maintaining professional neutrality. The school counselor occupied the front row, her concerning behavior report prominently displayed in her lap. My lawyer presented the financial evidence methodically. Bank statements, credit reports, transaction histories, each document building an undeniable pattern. Carly's breathing quickened with each revelation. Her fingers scratched at her neck, leaving red marks on pale skin. The judge called for Elliot's testimony after lunch. He approached the stand slowly, avoiding eye contact with both Carly and me. Under oath, he confirmed the authenticity of his hidden documentation. His voice cracked, describing months of feeling trapped, sensing something wrong but unable to identify the source. Carly's composure cracked during Elliot's testimony. She muttered under her breath, shaking her head violently. Carly's perfect mask is finally cracking while Elliot talks about feeling trapped. Fascinating how she's scratching her neck and muttering when faced with his actual documentation. Makes me wonder what's really going through her mind as her carefully built story falls apart piece by piece. Her lawyer touched her shoulder, warning her to stay quiet. But when Elliot described finding her researching insurance policies, she erupted. The bailiff stepped forward as she stood, pointing at me, screaming about conspiracies and planted evidence. The judge ordered a recess. In the hallway, I watched Carly pace frantically, her lawyer trying to calm her. Parents whispered in corners, processing what they'd heard. Several approached me, apologizing for believing her narrative. Their support felt hollow after months of isolation. When court resumed, Carly's lawyer presented her defense. She'd been researching insurance for legitimate reasons. The financial discrepancies were misunderstandings. Elliot had authorized everything, but her testimony revealed critical inconsistencies. She claimed to have married Ryan in 2019, contradicting the 2018 marriage certificate already in evidence. The judge caught the perjury immediately. He ordered court records pulled, comparing dates. Carly's lies unraveled in real time. She'd testified under oath about a provably false timeline. Her lawyer's face drained of color as he realized his client had just committed perjury in open court. Amy's name surfaced during the financial testimony. The forensic accountant had traced several suspicious transfers to an account under her name. The judge ordered a subpoena for Amy's financial records. Carly's friend Than, sitting in the gallery, suddenly stood and approached the prosecutor. He couldn't perjure himself for her, he explained. He had information about Amy and Carly's schemes. Than's testimony was devastating. He described Carly's obsession with becoming me, watching her practice my mannerisms for hours. He'd helped her research my background, thinking he was helping a friend with innocent admiration. The insurance research had frightened him enough to distance himself. He provided text messages where Carly discussed removing obstacles to her happiness. The judge ordered immediate psychological evaluations for all parties. Carly would undergo psychiatric assessment. The children would meet with specialists to evaluate the impact of the custody battle. Even Elliot would submit to evaluation, given his admitted months of documented fear. Saturday morning, Maria arrived at my sister's house. She'd driven 6 hours after hearing about Friday's hearing. In my sister's kitchen, she spread out her own documentation. Photos of Carly wearing her deceased mother's jewelry, receipts showing Carly had purchased items from the estate sale, evidence of systematic identity theft spanning years. Maria agreed to testify Monday. Her husband had finally understood this wasn't about revenge but protecting future victims. She'd brought Kelly with her. The three of us spent Saturday afternoon organizing evidence, creating a timeline of Carly's pattern across multiple relationships. Sunday's emergency hearing addressed the perjury charge. Carly's new lawyer, her previous one had withdrawn, argued for leniency, but the judge had reviewed the complete evidence file. The pattern was undeniable. Multiple marriages, identity theft, financial fraud, and now perjury. He ordered Carly held pending criminal charges. Monday's testimony from Maria and Kelly sealed Carly's fate. They described identical patterns: the obsessive study, the copying, the financial drain, the attempt to erase the original wife. The judge listened intently as they detailed the emotional devastation Carly left in her wake. Elliot took the stand again Monday afternoon. This time, he fully acknowledged his complicity. He'd chosen Carly's lies over my truth until it affected him. He'd documented everything but lacked courage to act. His shame was palpable as he described enabling her delusions because they fed his ego. The criminal charges were filed Tuesday: bigamy, fraud, perjury, and identity theft. Carly's bail was set high due to flight risk. Without access to Elliot's accounts, she couldn't post it. She remained in custody awaiting trial. Wednesday brought unexpected support. The daycare worker I'd inadvertently harmed came forward. She'd found new employment and wanted to testify about Carly's suspicious behavior she'd observed. The community that had shunned me began to fracture, some admitting they'd seen warning signs but stayed silent. The custody decision came Thursday. Primary custody returned to me, with supervised visitation for Elliot. He'd need to complete therapy and demonstrate stability before unsupervised access. The judge acknowledged the trauma inflicted on Jake and Claire, ordering continued therapy for both children. Carly's breakdown in custody was complete. Psychiatric evaluation revealed severe personality disorders requiring intensive treatment. She genuinely believed she was meant to be me, that stealing my life was destiny. The diagnosis explained the pattern but didn't excuse the crimes. Friday's meeting with prosecutors outlined my options. I could push for maximum penalties or recommend psychiatric treatment over prison time. The decision tormented me through the weekend. Revenge felt justified, but my children needed understanding more than hatred. I chose treatment over maximum imprisonment. The children would eventually need to process why Mama Carly disappeared. Understanding mental illness felt healthier than pure punishment. The prosecutor agreed to recommend psychiatric facility placement with criminal supervision. The financial untangling took months. Elliot cooperated fully, helping trace every fraudulent transaction. Insurance policies were canceled. Beneficiary designations restored. The $37,000 would take years to recover through restitution. My job search proved difficult. Word had spread through the accounting community, but eventually, a small firm took a chance. The owner had experienced his own family crisis and understood second chances. I started part-time, rebuilding professionally while prioritizing my children's healing. Jake's adjustment was hardest. He genuinely loved Mama Carly, despite her deceptions. Therapy helped him process conflicting emotions. Claire retreated into art, drawing elaborate pictures of fractured families slowly mending. Their therapist assured me healing would take time, but was possible. The school community remained divided. Some parents apologized for their rush to judgment. Others maintained distance, uncomfortable with their complicity. The pickup line would never feel comfortable again, but I focused on my children rather than social rehabilitation. Elliot's supervised visits began after 2 months of therapy. The children were cautious but willing. He'd sold the house, unable to live with memories of deception. His mother returned to Florida after the judge denied her grandparent rights petition, citing her failure to protect the children from Carly. 6 months later, Carly was sentenced. 5 years psychiatric facility supervision with possibility of reduction based on treatment progress. She'd serve minimum 2 years confined, then transition to outpatient supervision. The judge emphasized rehabilitation over punishment, noting her genuine mental illness. The victim support group met monthly. Maria, Kelly, and I compared notes on recovery. We'd all lost something: money, trust, pieces of ourselves, but we'd survived. Our meetings focused on moving forward rather than dwelling on past trauma. A year passed. Jake stopped asking about Mama Carly. Claire joined theater club, using performance to process emotions. I'd achieved workplace stability, earning enough to maintain modest apartment life. Elliot progressed to unsupervised visits, showing genuine commitment to healing. The anniversary of the birthday party revelation arrived with unexpected peace. No drama, no confrontations, just quiet acknowledgement of survival. That evening, I helped Jake with homework while Claire practiced lines for the school play. Normal life, hard won, but deeply appreciated. 2 years later, life had found new rhythm. Carly served her sentence, participating in mandatory therapy. Reports indicated progress, but lifelong supervision would continue. I'd stopped checking updates, focusing on my family's future rather than her fate. The children understood age appropriately. Jake knew Mama Carly was sick and getting help. Claire grasped more complexity, but channeled understanding through art. Both maintained relationship with their father, who genuinely transformed through therapy and accountability. I'd learned trust slowly returned. New friendships formed with those who'd stood by truth. Dating remained distant possibility, healing taking precedence over romance. Professional reputation rebuilt through consistent reliability rather than dramatic redemption. Some bridges burned beyond repair. Sarah never reconnected, her marriage unable to weather association with my drama. Former colleagues maintained professional distance. The neighborhood never fully welcomed me back, but acceptance came from unexpected sources. Other survivors, single parents, those who understood life's imperfect recovery. Justice arrived not through rage but persistence and documentation. Love couldn't save someone from themselves, but boundaries could protect those in their path. My children learned hard truths about mental illness, deception, and resilience. They'd carry scars, but also strength. The story ended not with triumph, but quiet survival. School pickups, homework battles, sibling squabbles, ordinary life precious in its mundane reality. Carly became cautionary tale rather than ongoing nightmare. We'd all paid prices for her obsession, but we'd endured. I sometimes wondered if she'd ever truly understood the damage. Her letters from treatment suggested growing awareness, but incomplete comprehension. The woman who'd studied me so intently never grasped that identity couldn't be stolen, only earned through lived experience. My mother had been right about one thing. I'd nearly destroyed myself seeking justice, but wrong about another. Sometimes fighting was necessary, even at great cost. The children needed one parent willing to see truth, document it, and persist despite community condemnation. Recovery meant accepting imperfect resolution. Not everyone apologized. Financial losses weren't fully recovered. Trust remained fragile, but my children were safe, healing, and learning healthy boundaries. That victory, small and personal, was enough. No fairy tale ending, just someone who fought hard and got their kids to safety. Thanks for reading this story with me. It really makes you think about what people will do to protect their children.